What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, blues people? We are live, streaming live from the African American Folklorist newspaper streaming platform. Like I told some of you earlier, if you actually watched my live on my homepage on Facebook and the African American Folklorist newspaper Instagram, I'd be going live this evening to raffle off the names for those who donated to our crowdfunding campaign. Okay? So, before I get to raffling it off, let me just share with you the different tiers and the perks. There was Document Our Story, which was one of the highest, Print Our Story, Reclaim Our Story, Share Our Story, and Tell Our Story. And many of you opted into Share Our Story, Tell Our Story, and a couple of you opted into Document Our Story. I believe there was one who opted into Print Our Story. Each tier has a different perk that you'd be raffled off for. Okay? So let's start with Tell Our Story. All tiers will receive a 1-year subscription of the print copy of the African American Folklorist newspaper. You all receive a video thank you, which is coming. We did a couple of those during the campaign, but we'll be sending out unique, individualized thank yous to those who participated and donated. You'll be mentioned in the newspaper. Now, the Tell Our Story tier, you'll be entered into the raffle to win an African American folklorist mouse pad, which looks like this. Now, that one's a little dirty. That's mine. I actually and truly use that. It is very handy. The Share Our Story tier, again, all of the above from the 1-year subscription to the video thank you, but you will be raffled in the entry to win an AAF mug. Now, those who follow my page, all of them, you've seen this mug. Okay? Excuse me. I don't think anyone hit the tier of Reclaim Our Story, but I will still read it off. Outside of everything else, if you opted into the Reclaim Our Story, your raffle entry would be for what we call the AAF swag bag. The AAF swag bag is the mouse pad, mug, t-shirt, hoodie, and custom-made AAF calendar. Okay? If you opted into the Print Our Story, notice they're all based on telling our story, sharing, reclaiming, printing, and documenting. If you opted into the Print Our Story, you can get an AAF hoodie. You can also opt into our charitable program that equips African Americans or those called African Americans and their community with the necessary tools of the ethnographer and folklorist. Now, remember, just on the side note, yes, I paused as I was reading that, but just on the side note, we have a workshop that we put on. We're actually in the works to get in one in the next couple of weeks out here in Bowling Green, where we share and introduce the tools of the folklorist and the ethnographer. And in a lot of cases, ethnography is a tool of the folklorist to the community. Um, this particular workshop that's coming up is going to be for high school students, right? But we also host this workshop for adults, elders, and youth that's under high school. I would say as young as 10, 11 years old, right? So we introduce you to the tools of the folklorist. And not just the tools, how to use these tools, how to research, how to interview, why should you be doing this, these sort of things, okay? The next one, or the last one, is document our story. The raffle entry to win on this one is an AAF t-shirt. And again, you can opt into our workshop, our program that equips the community with the necessary tools of the ethnographer and the folklorist, which is what I just explained. So for those of you who's been following our program, following our platform, receiving the newspaper, you would have read about this workshop that we host. And again, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing one out here in Bowling Green. And I will let you guys know about the future workshops that we will be holding. And we will even be holding it via Zoom if you are not in our immediate area and wish to be part of the workshop. Okay, so now we hosted 2 crowdfunding campaigns, okay? And if whoever's watching, drop a line in there to let me know what's going on and if you can hear me and things of this nature. Usually when I do live streams like this, I am discussing some form of our story, Black folk narrative, Black folk life, Black folk heritage, Black folk vernacular, Black folk expression, transmission, and so on. This evening is not going to be a, a live stream where I discuss these things. We're literally just going to do the raffle. So hopefully your name comes up. So we're going to start with the first campaign, okay? And again, I'm doing this live so you can see and understand we're not bull tickying you. So I'm going to use my Applejack hat. I don't know if y'all know, I got a whole bunch of hats, and one of them is my trusted Applejack. And I have 3 Applejack hats, right? But I'm gonna do it in the Applejack hat because that's the traditional wear of the blues people and of class. My granddaddy's wore it, my uncle's wore it, my pops wore it, I wear it. My brothers and some of my close friends have worn it and wear it. My sons wore black Apple Jacks, wear them. So we're gonna start with Tell. Hey, and shout out to my kids, right? First of all 5 of them. But shout out to LJ and Sammy because they were the ones who cut out the names. They were the ones who categorized the names, so we can do this. So here is the first. Can you see it? Is this better? Tell, okay? So these are names. Sorry, guys, one of the names fell. These are names from the first. These are names from the first campaign under the one that chose Tell. Okay, tell our story. So I want you to see me drop these names in the hat so you can see that it's real. Now I'm gonna shake it up. Okay. Now I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look. I just picked out a name. And the name is, wow, look at this. Can you see it? I know it's hard with this bright beep beep light. There we go. John Paul Jones, J.P. Jones, who is a blues musician. So he wins for the first raffle of the Tell Our Story from our first campaign. Okay? J.P. Jones Group, bluesman. Now, still in the first campaign, because we did two, remember? This is for, how to do what you saw before. There we go, share. Campaign one, share our story. Okay? I'm dropping it in, you see? Shaking it up. Not looking. And I've pulled out a name. Let's see who this is. Whoa. Okay, let's see how I did it so you guys saw it. There you go. Nicholas Watson. Nicholas Watson. So I'm putting my little things in the area in order right here. So that was for the share, Nicholas Watson. For the tell, J.P. Jones. All right. You want to get these next names? Now, mind you, you have to understand, if you don't understand the importance of what we are doing, we are not reclaiming our narrative. We are not just documenting our narrative, right? We are not just printing, posting, publishing, streaming, and broadcasting our story. We are sharing our story. We are telling our story. Furthermore, we are an incubator for those of the community that wants to tell their own story, right? What does that mean? Sometimes you don't want someone else to tell your story. So we help give you the tools to tell your story. Then we provide the real estate for that document, that article, that podcast, whatever it is, to live. We have the African American Folklore's newspaper. We have the website, which is both being revamped as we speak right now, thanks to you all and some great folk. Okay. Now we're going to the document. Now there's only two names under the document for the first campaign. See? I don't know. There you go. Okay. Only two names on the document for the first campaign. Okay. We dropped it in there. Okay. Only two names. Shake it up. Shake it up. I'm grabbing something. And this person is, Gloria White. Gloria White. So now, just so you know, very shortly after this raffle, we will be sending these things out. So now this is for campaign number 2. Okay. Remember, it is extremely important. Also, remember, I love to drive this home. We do not necessarily use the term obscure. We definitely do not use the term primitive, right? Those terms do not represent what we do. Okay? It does not represent who we are as a people, as a folk group, because it may be new to someone else, but to those that are being served, it is a significant contribution, which is why I don't like to use the term obscure. Okay, so again, share. We went through these tiers already. I know that keeps happening. All right, now this is share for campaign number 1. I'm gonna drop it back in my Applejack hat, okay? Boom, you saw them go in. Shake it up, shake it up. And we got a name. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Troy Purley. Are you kidding me? Troy Purley. Troy Purley. Now, all of you that receives these after winning the raffle, please take a picture with your product, whether it's t-shirt, sweatshirt, mouse pad, mug, whatever it is. Make sure you take a picture with it, okay? Here's another one for document. Okay. Again, this is part 2. Okay. You know, I could see myself in the reflection. That's Corey Harris's paintings behind me. I just want y'all to know that's my brother right there. Okay. However, I have to use another camera because I could be distracting to you guys if you could see me right there, and then you could see me right there in the reflection. And guess who won for document? Tim Frandy. Tim Frandy. What's happening, my man? Tim Frandy wins for document. Okay. Last but not least, we have another tell. Remember, tell our story, document our story, share our story. I'm going to drop these into the hat. Who is this? Rick Leonard. Is this brother Rick? Rick Leonard wins for Tell the Story. And I'm gonna tell you something. Brother Rick earnestly helps us to tell our story. So, great folk, those are the winners of the African American Folklorist newspaper raffle for all the people that donated over the summer to our 2 drives in the spring. I want to thank you. Listen, we're just getting started. I didn't even mention the documentary that's being edited right now that we shot over the summer with a great team of people that'll be airing soon. Okay, make sure you tune into the African American Folklorist on WKU Public Radio, NPR 1. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to what else? Our email mailing list. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Okay. Follow us on Instagram. Keep up. Not to mention, this is not just about you following me and those who work with me to make this happen. This is also a place for your stories to be told. All right? So I'm going to let y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening or Sunday night because it got a little late, right? I'll be right back at you before you know it because we got a lot of stuff going on to make sure that we honor, respect, and continue the work of our elders by honoring, respecting, sharing, documenting, and preserving our story, our narrative, our tradition, our heritage, and also to understand that our story, which I like to call the Black folk narrative, because a lot of these terms have technical uses in particular disciplines. Now I'm kind of rogue in that sense, right? Because I use certain words interchangeably, one, and two, I use certain words intentionally based on the disciplines that I'm connected to and the disciplines that I utilize to help put our story in the proper perspective. Okay. And and today I interviewed our current folklorist of the month. That's going to be up soon as well. Okay. So you guys have a great evening. Trust me, before you know it, I'll be right back at you. You got any stories, any black narrative, black folk life that you want to share, that you want highlighted? Get at me and I'll help you tell it, or I will platform it, or I will just interview you, however it works. Okay. You got, one last thing. Don't forget that we're always taking submissions for articles, um, journal entries, poems, narratives, the whole spiel. We're always taking submissions because we are here to be the focal point of our story, because there are multiple stories of our people, right? We share a lot of experiences, right? But we're not just one big monolithic group of people. There are subcultures within the subculture within the subculture, and all of that is represented here. Doesn't matter your orientation, it doesn't matter your denomination, all those things fall under our narrative. And if you want it to be told right, it has to come from us. All right, so I'll talk to y'all soon.